All right, here we are, another episode of Flipping Houses for Rookies.
Off we go.
Episode number 282. Whoa! We're getting there, Peter.
Bill, this podcast is like life. It's infinite.
Yeah.
When will it ever end? Never
Completely sidetrack like we're not supposed to be doing. I heard a statistic yesterday that blew my mind.
Yeah.
I was told that there are over 60,000 human beings that have exceeded the age of 100 and are living today.
So how many?
60,000 in America.
Well, I only have one question to that.
Yeah.
Why would they want to? For the love of God.
And they have anticipation with science going the way it is that not shortly from now, like a year or two, they expect it to be over 100,000. So yeah, we can handle 282 episodes. Okay? For a couple old guys, we're doing pretty good, okay?
Okay, I'll leave it at that, too. I got another statistic. We'll save that for another show. The statistic is how long we're actually supposed to live.
Oh, okay, here we go.
I'll save that one.
The life according to Pete. Episode number two.
You'll find out later.
I'm cutting off. Episode number 282. This is the title. Real expectations a creative real estate rookie should have to be totally free. Real expectations a creative real estate rookie should have to be totally free.
Okay.
Here we go. The description.
Yep.
How to think.
I've been thinking about that one lately a lot.
Truth is, no one is really any smarter than everyone else. Here is why. When you actually calculate each creative real estate rookie necessity level, or the reason why and passion behind the need to have real estate income, you will soon see the differences in success and failure. When you add up the element of financial, emotional, and logic behind how and why you think, results vary as much as climates do in different parts of the world. If a rookie has protection or a plan B when things go wrong, it's a massive factor of success and its length of runway to get there.
That makes sense.
And when your neck is on the line without a backup plan, you soon learn how to think and get fast results. In this podcast, you'll be shocked at how easy it is to locate money in real estate and how to get it so you don't need to wonder another minute on how many ways there are to raise your income. And this is a completely different talk from all the other 281 podcasts here at Flipping Houses for Rookies. In fact, it works for any type of business.
Oh.
Just faster with real estate. So let's reveal it now. So before I start, I don't do this too often, but I'm going to do it today.
Yes.
This podcast is dedicated to my friend Jay.
Oh, good. Hey, he's my friend too.
I understand.
Okay.
So I called him yesterday and invited him to this podcast. He's a friend of ours, in another arena. He talks about real estate with me, but he has his own business and stuff like that. So this podcast is dedicated to him.
Yeah, I talked to him yesterday. He said, Pete, what's the podcast name again? Why? I'm listening tomorrow. Okay. Hi, Jay.
Anyways, so before we get started, a little bit of housework here. There is a link in your chat that has some goodies in there, so you should go check it out. Okay, wherever you're watching us or listening to us in the chat. I said in the chat. I meant in the description. Wherever the description of this podcast is, either you're watching or listening, go check that link out. I got some goodies in there for you.
Christmas is coming, boys and girls.
Christmas is coming, and Bill likes Christmas.
We'll give things away.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Still not having a Christmas party, so it's all online.
All right. Also, we record this podcast. We're back on schedule. We do about 9:30-ish on a Thursday morning. I know that's not conducive for a lot of people's schedule because they're working and stuff like that. But if you so dare to join us or have questions or would like to be part of the podcast, you could go to Facebook or you can go to YouTube. Just type in Flipping Houses for Rookies and you'll find us. And with that said, you can comment in either one of the platforms. I do Twitter too, but I don't know too much about Twitter. But we do a lot of Facebook and we do YouTube. Also, if you go to those channels, all the podcasts are recorded there. They're all archived there, as well as at flippinghousesforrookies.com. If you go to the top of the page of flippinghousesforrookies.com and you type in, you click on podcast. Once you're on that page, and a lot of people don't know this because they get support tickets on this, Peter. Once you're on that page, so if you go to flippinghousesforrookies.com/podcast, or just go to flippinghousesforrookies.com, and at the top right-hand side, click on podcast, you can go on the podcast page, and there's a search box on the right-hand side. Whatever topic you want, because there's 282 shows. There's a lot of stuff there. Just type in the topic. So if you want to learn about subject to, or you want to learn about private money, or if you want to learn about, lease options or whatever you want to learn about, just type it in that search engine and it will bring you all the podcasts that we've done and it isolates it down to a handful of podcasts. So just type in the subject that you want to study and you can go listen to you and I rant and rave about it. Okay.
Yeah, that's really helpful because there's just way too many. And I've tried to listen to like podcasts or training and like, where the hell do you start? So
you start with your interest. Just go to that podcast page.
Yep.
Type in your interest, and you'll start with that. Okay. So enough of that. Let's move on. Jay Abraham, very, very famous guy. Jay Abraham,
not our friend.
No, not Jay. No, not our Jay, friend Jay. This is Jay Abraham. Wrote in his book, "Getting Everything You Want Out of Everything You Got." That's the name of the book. It's an amazing book, and any business owner should read it because he is phenomenal with business. Mm-hmm. He's a Dan Kennedy
follower?
No, the other way around. I think Dan Kennedy follows him.
Like a mentor?
Yeah, he's a Dan Kennedy mentor, yeah.
Wow.
So I quote from his book. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
An amazing thing, the human brain. Capable of understanding incredible, complex, and intricate concepts. Yet at the same time, unable to recognize the obvious and simple. Some true examples. Ice cream was invented in 2000 BC, yet it was 39 years later before someone figured out the ice cream cone.
3,900?
No, 39 years. Meat was on the planet before humans. Bread was baked in 2600 BC. Nevertheless, it took another 4,300 years before someone put them together and created the sandwich.
It took an Earl to do that.
Yeah, I know. And the modern flush toilet was invented in 1777, I think. I wrote the wrong number here. But it wasn't until 1857 that someone thought up toilet paper. Once these obvious connections have been made, they seem to be so obvious, so evident, we can't believe we didn't see them sooner. Nice, huh?
Well, it makes me wonder what we're missing right now.
Right. So thank you, Mr. Abraham, for those words of wisdom. You should read the book. Like I said, it is called Getting Everything You Want or Everything You Can Out of All You Got. Let me do that again. The book is called Getting Everything You Can Out of All You Got.
All right.
By Jay Abraham. A phenomenal book. I've read it a couple times. I haven't read it recently, but when I was in there doing my notes, I was like, oh, I got to read this puppy again.
Okay.
If you're a real estate rookie, you may not have put the connections together yet, like Jay is talking about, Jay Abraham's talking about. In fact, it may even look extremely confusing how to get to the end of the rainbow where the pot of gold is.
Sure.
To the point where you start to wonder how many ways there are to make and increase your real estate income. Well, today I'm here to say, and the good news, there are only 3 ways to get and increase income. This is out of Jay's book.
Oh,
Jay Abraham's book. Yeah, out of Jay Abraham's book. Right? And it's in the first chapter.
Yeah, I know your 3, I think. What does he say?
So I told you, this is different than all the other 281 podcasts. This is completely different.
So I'm going to have to listen, huh?
And understand. You're going to have to absorb and understand. And yes, Peter, there will be a test.
Crap. Focus, Nicola. Focus. Focus.
Number 1, here are the 3. Number 1, increase the number of clients. So we're talking about how to increase income in any business.
Yeah.
We're gonna turn it into real estate in about 2 minutes.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
But how do you increase income in any business?
Well, more clients make sense.
So number 1, increase the number of clients.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Number 2, increase the average size of the sale per client.
Sure.
And number 3, increase the number of times clients return to buy again.
Smart.
So I'm going to read these again, and then I'm going to give you real estate examples, and then I'm going to talk about the reason why I've invited my friend Jay. This is complicated because Jay Abraham is the book writer and Jay is our friend. The reason why I wanted to invite my friend Jay is because he smokes cigars with me. And he very often visits me at the cigar shop and has dinner with me on Friday night. And we have had many conversations where it's mostly me talking, because that's kind of how some of my conversations go. Imagine that.
If you haven't noticed, folks, hi, it's Pete over here. I'm still here. But I don't want the podcast to be 3 hours, so I let Bill just run. Go, Bill, go.
So, one of the things we talk about a lot, which we're going to get to because I'm letting the cat out of the bag early in the show, is continuity. That's a term that we use for income. In other words, it's a monthly subscription or a monthly do it again. Right. What is I see a lot of this lately on TV, which I'm a little bit aggravated about, because I'll tell you why in a second. So what is the name of the pills that they're selling on TV that have the fruit, the vegetable nutrients in them?
Yeah, I've seen that. I forget the name. Yeah, but it's capsules, fruits, and vegetables.
Yeah. So Jesse and I, my daughter and I, did that a bunch of years ago when they first came out. It was an MLM, a multiple level marketing.
Multi-level marketing.
And I was at a show. I used to work for a company that consulted automotive repair shops, and I traveled 40 weeks a year around the country, and I was somewhere in the Midwest. And somebody approached me in the seminar and signed me up for this multi-level, not for the marketing, but for the product. Yeah. And it was like $20 a month. Mm-hmm. So I bought one for me and I bought one for Jesse, and it worked. It was amazing how I felt after a couple months. I'm not sure what happened. I think my credit card got stolen or something, or hacked or something. So I changed my card. Something happened, and I lost the subscription. Huh. And I just couldn't figure out how to do it. Well, now I want to do it again, and then damn pills are $60 a month. They were 20, now they're 60. So I'm having trouble. My point is that's a continuity program, because you buy it now and then they charge you monthly. Matter of fact,
Yeah.
I went the other day to buy my wife some vitamins because she's having trouble with her hair. Her hair is falling out and she's all worried about it. So my sister advised I go buy this Bicon or something like that for her hair. And I was on Amazon and I noticed that I couldn't find, I just wanted to buy one bottle. And it took me a couple minutes to do that. I couldn't find the buy button. Because they had on the screen a continuity program where you can set it for like 3 months, 4 months, 10 months, 12 months, and they'll just keep supplying you every month with that bottle.
Boy, I hate those because I forget to cancel. I keep getting crap I don't want. Right, folks?
Yeah.
You want to buy one bottle, see if you like it first.
So those are continuity programs. So I'm way ahead of myself, but I'm going to come back to this in real estate. Because...
But Bill, did you buy the bottle?
I bought one. I didn't buy the continuity program.
I just wanted to, but didn't want to be left hanging on a cliff here.
Yeah, she's having some trouble right now with some of that stuff. She just got tested, got some blood tests, and got some stuff going on yet again. So here we go. All right. So thanks again, Jay Abraham, for these 3 amazing insight and help tips. So I'm going to read them again. Number 1, increase the number of clients. Number 2, increase the average size of the sale per client. And number 3, increase the number of times clients return to buy again.
Yep.
This, if you concentrate on this in your business and figure these 3 things out, your income will change.
Makes sense.
Now let's turn it into how it fits into real estate.
Sure.
Now I'm specifically speaking of creative finance real estate. I'm specifically speaking of buying pretty houses. I'm not talking, I mean, it works for flipping houses too, but I'm going to come around to that at the end of the podcast, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to drill a hole in my forehead and put a microscope on my mind of how I think about real estate by the time we get done with this podcast. Because this podcast is exactly how I think about real estate, but it has nothing to do with real estate. It has everything to do with money.
Okay.
So here we go. Number 1, increase the number of clients. We talk about this a lot.
Sure.
Increase the number of clients. Truth is, if you want to make boatloads of income from real estate, you need to find and communicate to a person who might have a house for sale.
Sure.
Now, when you go through our flow chart that we've done previously, the flow of a deal, there's 5 steps of a deal. The first step I talk about, in fact, this has come full circle for me because I'm going to tell you a story that has nothing to do with this podcast, but it has everything to do with this point. Okay?
Sure.
I've come full circle because the first thing I teach my coaching clients is the list. In direct mail, your success, 60% of your success in direct mail is the list. Who are you talking to? When you do advertising, which by the way is the reason why most people fail in advertising, is they just go to the newspaper and they talk to 40,000 people, but out of that 40,000, 38,000 are not interested in the product.
Yeah, I've learned that in PR. The way I look at it is it's called wrong publics, like the wrong people. Because there's different groups of people out there, ages, things, interests, whatever. You're talking to the wrong people. That's how I've called it or learned it. But
so another way to put it is a congregation. I mean, think of a church with pews and people sitting in it. Yeah. It's a congregation. So how many people? Like I'll go to the congregational church down here on a Sunday, right? And there's I don't know, I'm guessing 100 people in there. I go there Christmas Eve, there's 300 people there.
Sure.
Okay. But the point is this, 100 or 300 is not a lot of people. Now they got to keep that church sustainable. They have to keep their donations and their charities. And so how do they do that? The point is they have something in common with that community. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people think and I'm telling you, in 2022, I am going to do a lot about this. In fact, I'm going to overdo it because I'm just very passionate about this. Most people think a good communication cycle has a lot to do with reality. Like, what's your reality? What's my reality?
Sure.
You want 200,000 for the house. I want to pay 100. Is our reality in sync?
No, sir.
Okay. So that's what most people think. You like guitars. I like cigars. Is our reality in sync?
No, but at least
No.
it rhymes. At least it rhymes.
Okay. So a lot of salespeople are taught that if you keep in the same reality, right, that the communication will go good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with that. I don't disagree with it, but I don't agree with that.
Oh, how do you?
The first thing you need to do is you need to build affinity. They got to like you first.
Oh.
The first thing you have to have is they have to like you, which is the reason why I told you a month ago I'm gonna write a book and I'm gonna preach a lot how to get people to like you. Because for some reason I got in my head something I read or something that struck me, because I read a lot, especially lately I've been reading a lot, just because I'm on one of those binges. If people don't like you, they don't do business with you, especially us in the creative real estate business. So the reason why this is true for me is because I've changed my coaching group, which is no longer a coaching group. It's an apprentice program. And we have software, which is REI Reply, and we bring people into the group and we give them jobs. Now, we have talked about this multiple other podcasts, so we're not going to cover this a lot, but the steps or the sequence is you text someone, then you do an opening call, then you do a closing call, and then you do a deal meeting. Those are the sequences you go through to do a deal. Every deal happens that way. I don't care what kind of deal it is, right? So the texting is, are you interested? The opening call is, so let me back this up based on what I'm saying, because I'm off target here. So the texting is, are you interested? Can we talk to you? The opening call is the affinity that I'm talking about.
Oh.
The closing call is the reality. So you're building these pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm telling you from vast experience doing thousands and thousands of presentations, if people don't like you, you're in trouble. Now, what's occurred to me and has washed over me like a warm wave, because it gives me goosebumps when I talk about it right now, and I know I'm ranting. How do you build affinity? How do you make people like you? And I don't mean make. How do you get people to like you? What do you do to get people to like you?
Yeah, you can't make somebody like you.
And here's the thing. Earl Nightingale and Tony Robbins and all these guys that are like, are people that supposedly are motivational speakers. I don't listen to their stuff because I think they're fake. I don't think they really live those lives. I think their stage presence was different than their backstage presence. Okay. Now, I'm not saying they're bad guys. I'm not saying that I'm not saying it. They're just not for me.
Okay.
But other than that type of a person or that type of a venue, how do you learn human behavioral characteristics so that somebody will like you? How do you do that? How do I know what's going on in your head when I'm talking to you? How do you know that?
Yeah.
What are the telltales? How do I know that? Right?
Sure.
And I know this because my kids they tease me about this all the time. When we go out for dinner or something like that, it's like I get people, I'm talking to everybody. I'm talking to the waiter, I'm talking to the waitress, I'm talking to the manager, I'm talking to the bartender, I'm like all over the place.
You're talking to little kids.
I talk to little kids. They tell me that's creepy. I'm like, why? Little kids are big people in little bodies. Why can't I talk to them?
Yeah, just tell them like you're a grandpa guy.
So I'm totally digressed here. So the truth is, if you want to make boatloads of income from real estate, you need to find and communicate to a person that might have a house for sale. So here's what happens. If you find the right list, with the right criteria of how you want to buy. Like, for example, if you don't have money or if you're scarce on resources to go buy and rehab a house, and you don't have $200,000 available to you, then you shouldn't be trying to buy properties on the MLS. You should be trying to buy creative real estate deals, or more to the point, rent-to-owns. You can go on Facebook under the rental section and find someone that is renting a property and send them a messenger and say, would you be willing to rent to me for a year or two, and then I buy it? That is the right person. Now watch this. If you do what I'm talking about and you use the right amount of affinity and you're a likable person, it opens the door to talking about the offer, which is the reality. Would you take and would you be willing to?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is very profound. This is not some like easy, light thing, which is why I'm going to spend some time on it in 2022 to just show you how to do this naturally. Because you know how to do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to call it to attention. So you can do more or less of it. Because some things you do, and I do them too, some things I do that repel people. Like one thing is so simple, it's just smile. Just walk down the street and smile at somebody. And they smile back at you.
Yeah. You think everybody's got a straight face go down the street because the first guy has to smile to the next guy and pass it down. And you'd be surprised how many people are very nice if you just be nice to them.
Right. So even if today is your first day on the job, and you have what it takes to talk to people. You know how to talk to people. Now, there are some people like my daughter who's a total introvert that doesn't like to talk to people. Well, she's not in real estate because of that. Right?
Oh, she could be a texter.
Yeah, she could be a texter. Example, have you ever rented a place to live before? Most people have.
Sure.
If yes, well, you have enough mental assets to contact a real estate landlord and ask them if they would rent for a year or two and then sell to you. You have it. All you need now is just affinity. You just need to be nice and be polite and be courteous, not fake, for real. Be interested in them. One of the highest compliments you could give a person is to give them your undivided attention when they're talking to you. And acknowledge them, that you understand them, and that you've completely gotten their concept. Their mental image picture is completely duplicated in your mind, and you got it. That is the best thing you can do for any human being.
Yeah, and emphasis for me, listening to people talk, emphasis on acknowledging. A lot of people do not acknowledge. Yeah. They get the data in their head as if that's all that has to happen. The other person needs to know that you get it. I understand you. I see what you mean. I've had that. You received it. Yeah. You gotta make them know, like, that happened to me once. So I really understand you.
Right.
Whatever it is, like, sorry to hear it, but I got it. Call them.
You're right. I don't like this concept, but I'm going to tell you the best way and the easiest way to learn this is called mirroring. So if you say to me, well, give me a sentence, just tell me something, give me some idea. Just make something up.
Sure. Well, it's kind of a cloudy day, but I think the sun will come out later.
Oh, cool, Peter. So it's a cloudy day and the sun will come out later.
Yeah.
I just duplicated you and you know it. I just repeated your words.
Yeah.
I mirrored you.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they get into this whole psychological thing, which I'm not into, like body motions and all that. That's a bunch of crap. If you duplicate the person. So watch this now.
Yeah.
The more landlords you seek out and ask this question to, the more you will find someone who will say yes. So you can then find a renter to sublease this property to and get some income from it. So number one step, increase the number of clients. We talk to about this a lot. So if you are sitting around complaining about how you haven't done your first deal and how blah, 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 and I'm serious about that.
Yeah.
It's because you're a freaking coward and you don't want to get on the phone and talk to a person. You think that you're immature, you're not a pro, you're not very good at it. And I'm telling you, if you're a human being and you've rented an apartment from somebody before, You can do this. Just get on the phone and just talk to somebody.
You know what else is funny? I'm sure people are going to worry if they're bothering somebody or asking them a question they shouldn't ask them. There are people renting properties that are tired of it. They're
A lot of them.
They're sick of it. You know,
That's
they just, or they get to the point like, I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm 58 years old. I'm tired of it. I'm done. It was my plan. Friggin' 20 years. Like, can I stop, for God's sake? So
exactly
you look and think they say, so you ask the question. The guy says no. You say thank you. Move on. You'll find the guy. He's out there. Like a waitress, table to table. Can I get you something else? No. Okay, fine. Next table.
Exactly.
Can I get you something? No. Okay, fine. Repeat business, whatever it is. And somebody says yes. Give me another drink. Fine. It's not that hard. Don't take it personal. Although some people are assholes who answer, but just ignore those.
Yeah, it's incredible how many people are, right?
Well, it's not that many. It's a small percentage, but you notice it because the nice people. I've gotten several. Like I got your nice text or your nice letter about you're looking for property. I'm sorry to say it's sold, but thanks for asking. Have a good day. Then you get the other guy. You effing like, hey, you go click.
F off, yeah.
But you don't just click. It's just but it's very few. But just ignore those. He's like that. You didn't do that. He's just an ass in the first place. So.
Yeah. So I tell my kids, it's their universe, not yours.
Oh yeah, it's their head.
Don't my father-in-law, my ex-father-in-law, who was in business for 40-something years. He's 82 or 83 now.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when I was a young boy, and I mean young, I was in my late 20s when he taught this to me, and I didn't get it. And I get it. And it was just a few years ago that it actually registered. So it was a severe lag between lessons.
A little slow there, Bill.
Yeah, a little slow to the race.
What was it?
Don't let an asshole ruin your day.
Yeah.
That was the lesson.
Yeah.
And I understood it, but I understand it more now. In other words, don't let his yuck invade your environment or your surroundings or your world and poison it.
Yeah, because you didn't do it. He did.
Yeah,
and know they're out there. So don't be surprised when you see one. Just move it on. Don't let them push your buttons.
All right, we're way off topic. So number 2, increase the average sale per client. Now, Peter, before I start, I want you to know, I want to tell you, you know this. I want to tell you so others can hear it.
Okay.
Please, I beg, borrow, and steal to get you to understand this. This step is your freedom. This step is the part that will make you financially, emotionally free. It is incredible to me. In fact, it says, this one baffles me. So many new rookies tell me they want a wholesale deals for income.
Sorry.
That's just one profit center. What if you did like I just explained with a rent to own, found a landlord who is burned out, like you said, doesn't want the landlord obligations. You take on those obligations and assign those obligations to your buyer who really wants a house and can't qualify for that mortgage, that bank loan.
Yep, but he can rent, he can lease.
And he could fix the kitchen window, and he could fix the floor, and he could put something, cut the grass and plow the driveway. Mm-hmm. Because if you did not give him this opportunity,
he'd be stuck in that rental or mother-in-law's basement. Exactly
right. And by doing this, you get money now, money later. I'll give that to you again. Money now, money monthly, and money later. Now, Ron LeGrand taught that formula to me. He says it differently than I say it, but he taught that to me in a seminar. Again, didn't understand how important this was. I was a little bit late to the party. But if every real estate transaction you even talk about, any real estate transaction you talk about, and we did extensive conversation on episode number 278 and 280 on this topic. You want to become an extraordinary deal structurer in real estate? Here's how you do it. And it's this step. It's these words that make it happen. When somebody's talking to you and they say this is their price, this is what they're willing to do monthly, and this is how much term they're willing to give you.
How much time?
Right.
Yeah.
And how much deposit they want, if they talk about deposit. So when you're an acquisition manager, you're looking to acquire property, you have to have those 4 numbers, otherwise the deal is confusing and you won't transact it.
Mm-hmm.
You need to know the price, you need to know the monthly payment, and you need to know the term, the time, and you need to know the deposit. Even rehab deals are that way. Because you have to have a price, it has to be within the right realm, otherwise the private lender won't give it to you.
Yeah. You can't get financing.
You need to know what the payment's going to be, because you're going to have to hold this property for 6 or 8 months. So that's wasted money.
Yeah, you're not making payments, but there's taxes are going, water's going, electricity's going.
Well, we don't make payments because I've got years of experience. But in the beginning, I used to make monthly payments on my private and hard money.
Oh yeah.
You need to know how long you have the money for.
Mm.
You need to know how much now hard money lenders require some skin in the game. They want you to have skin in the game. So these 4 things happen on every real estate transaction. It's not just creative real estate.
Mm-hmm.
But in the creative real estate world, it's very important. How much are they willing to take for a price? What's their best price? What's their best payment amount? What's their term, the time length they're willing to let you use the property and pay them until they want paid off? And how much of a deposit? Those 4 numbers. Now watch this. As you're accumulating that data from your seller, you should be, and this is what I do, and there's 2 podcasts on this, number 278 and 280. We did 2 long podcasts on this, right? Here's what I do in my mind. I bounce it off of money now, money monthly, money later. Mm-hmm. I think to myself, how much can so if the price is 280, how much can I sell for? What's my price going to be? How much is my buyer willing to pay? If my payment is $1,500, I think, how much can I get from my buyer?
Yep.
And if my term is 12 months, I think, can my buyer cash me out that quick? Right. So now I just made a form that you keep complimenting me on. And on that form, it's 3 boxes. So the top box is how much they're willing to take. How much is their price? How much is their payment? How much is their term? How much is their deposit? Mm-hmm. The middle box is how much you're going to offer them, which I'll come back to. And the bottom box is how much can you get? Mm-hmm. So what happens is this creative worksheet this creative offer worksheet forces your mind to think this way. So the top box is how much do they want? The bottom box is how much can you get? And then you stretch down the top box and pull up the bottom box, and you meet in the middle on what your offer should be. Mm-hmm. So you're pulling down what the seller wants to accept, and then you're pulling up how much can your buyer pay, and somewhere in the middle you make an offer that has profit to you. How much money now can you get? How much monthly can you get? And how much will you get later? When you get all 3 of those in a deal, because not every deal produces that, when you get all 3 of those in a deal, you have a trifecta. And it makes a deal. So what's increase the average sale per client? So how do you do that? Number 2, instead of just offering them cash, you see if they'll do payments so that you can get the 3 money now, money monthly, money later. Right?
Yeah, and that's a strange one because people think you make more money on rehabs. But I've watched your last few numbers. When you add all of it up, it doesn't happen in a few months. It happens in a couple of years maybe, but who cares? You keep making more deals, and it's like a machine. You wind up making as much or a lot of times more than a rehab. I've seen your numbers. You've posted some of the numbers.
Yeah.
About rehab. No rehab.
So the interesting thing here is the way that you're going to, Kiyosaki said this in his book.
Mm.
You don't need to be a millionaire to be free.
Mm.
If you got a $4,000 a month nut, in other words, you got $4,000, you need $4,000 a month to live. Just make $6,000. So I did this last night on the podcast. I mean, not on the podcast, on the monthly meetup.
Mm-hmm.
So there's multiple ways to do this, which I'm going to let out of the bag, and I'm not going to talk about this. This is another podcast, but I get complimented because I'm in other coaching groups. I have other guys that I help coaching with, right?
Yeah.
I get teased and complimented so many times because my average monthly income is $700,000, $800,000 a month. And they're like, oh my God, how do you do that? I'm going to tell you how I do that. I don't do it with equity. That's what they think. They think I buy it really low or I get a really low payment. In other words, I'm training an acquisition manager now, and he's making offers and he's giving really low payments. You can't do that because the seller won't let you do that. So what I do is I use my maximum allowable payment formula. I figure out what's fair to my seller. I settle on that payment. And then when I go to my buyer, what I do is I get down payment assistance money. So like I just did a deal and I wanted $12,000 down. The guy gave me $8,000 now, and I put him on a down payment assistance program. So he's giving me $230 a month above and beyond his rent.
Yeah, which is sounds a little bit more like rent to own. It sounds a little more like that. He's making payments toward it. He's making payments on the down payment. And I've done that.
So here's what happened on that deal. So I pay $1,100 a month for a mortgage. He's paying $1,780. So I got what, $650 in positive cash flow. His $230 put me up to what, $900 or $1,000 a month.
Yeah, the extra to catch up for what he's behind on. Yeah.
So that's how I do it. So how many of those deals do you need to be free? Because Kiyosaki says if you have enough assets that can pay you your $6,000 and you don't have to swap hours to do it, you're wealthy.
Oh, by the way, when he says assets, he doesn't mean stuff that you own that you're paying on. He means stuff that you own that's paying you.
Yeah. So how many deals do you need to do at $800, $900, $1,000 a month to fire your boss?
2, yes.
Right? By the way, if you go to podcast number 233, the name of that podcast is 12 Ways to Make Money Out of Real Estate Without Putting Any of Your Own In. So if you want to get a full concept of how to, step number 2, Jay Abraham talks about, is increase the average sale per client. There's a whole podcast on that.
Yeah.
Point is, the buy, fix, and flip method is breaking the Jay Abraham formula to increase your income, because it's only one part of the formula.
Yeah, it's called a job.
Yeah, that's what ends up. That's why I don't do it anymore, because every month you got to find new deals and you got to chase your money, and there you go. I mean, just this year I was sick with COVID and hospitalized, and I didn't work for almost 2 months. A month and a half later, or 2 months later, I just went to Florida and I was gone for 5 weeks. Now I work here and there, but how am I able to do that?
It's called passive income.
My online business suffers more than my real estate business.
Yeah.
Because I'm not doing stuff like this, right? Number 3, Jay Abraham's number 3, increase the number of times clients return and buy again. This is for my friend Jay.
Okay.
There's a better term for this on Bill's Planet, and it's called continuity, which is what I talked about earlier. Continuity. What does continuity mean? Let me look it up.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, it means continue. So something is continuing. So you have something in the business stuff. Like I'm a music teacher. I might have to work each week for the continuity, but people come every week. Barbers, people come every few weeks to get a haircut. Plumbers, you fix it once and then you wait months for something else to go wrong. Right. You know, people aren't coming back every week for business. So some businesses are very repeat. I mean, even some diners, same people come every Saturday morning for breakfast or Monday through Friday for breakfast, or coffee every morning before work, coffee. So at least they have where are we going to get our next client? Well, you build a business and they keep flowing at you. Is there a way for us to do continuity with?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't see that with what we do. Tell me that when you're done.
All right. So continuity definition. There's two definitions: the unbroken and consistent existence or operation of something over a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
The unbroken and consistent existence or operation of something over a period of time. Number two, the maintenance of continuous action and self-consistent detail in the various scenes of a movie or a broadcast.
Oh, like a story that makes sense and goes someplace, and
So it's a theme. It's a theme.
Everything connects.
Mm-hmm.
The character at the beginning might still be at the end, not like where'd he go?
Right.
Okay.
Right. That's why they don't kill off the main character. Usually.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's continue with the podcast because I have some side notes I want to make here. So that means, like we were just talking about, that means that the customer pays you monthly when you deliver.
Mm-hmm.
This is the cure of wealth and freedom, like I spoke about. Check this out. If you need, and I did this already, but if you need $4,000 per month to live, figure out how to make $6,000 a month. This way, if someone doesn't pay a bill, you have a cushion and your $4,000 is safe.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And if they all pay, then you take the other $2,000, you put it into a reserve account for a rainy day.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this may be strengthened. I'm sorry. Now, this may be stretchingly realistic for you right now, but watch this. If you can get about 12 houses making about $500 per deal, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why I'm telling you it's a realistic look for a rookie. Like they think they're going to be a real estate investor for 30 years to become rich.
Mm-hmm.
What this does in this particular case, just reversing the math, is you got to get $500 per month average per house.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have 12 houses to
Mm-hmm.
be able to make $6,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Does that take you a year? Does it take you 2? Does it take you 5?
Mm-hmm.
But now there's a bullseye.
Yeah, you have a target. You know what else is nice about this, and you're glossing over this, but it's a big one. You're also getting some money down, which would help with, like, if you have some bills that are annoying, you can get rid of some bills, some debt, and lower how much.
So you don't need to have $4,000 a month.
Right, or you can take that and you can use that to, next time you get a property, you can fix it up a little, $500,000. Just clean it up. You don't have to what do I do about this and that? Just clean it up. It's a tiny investment. But then a year or two later, when you sell it and you get some money at the back end, holy crap, what's that? That's just like, holy crap, money.
Right.
That's a bigger chunk.
Right.
And if you have a steady stream of this, you can get some deposits every time, and eventually when you sell, you get a nice equity inflow at the end. And we had a friend, mostly your friend in Texas. He had 34 houses.
Yep.
That Phil, remember Texas?
Yeah.
34. Yep. Multiply that by 500 or even 250 for crap,
Right.
Yeah.
Continuity.
Yeah, I was thinking continuity. How do you get the seller to come and sell you another house? I was thinking the wrong end of it. But when you get the buyer in the that's like their client, because you have to buy something to sell something. You have to buy chocolates to sell chocolates to people. So our clients is maybe a little bit more the buyers who come to us after we find a house to sell to them. But they're in the house for a year or 2 or 3 or 4 and paying us every month. So that's your continuity.
So listen to this, Peter. You're 100% correct, because I didn't realize what I was doing when I was doing it. You just brought it to me. So I'm splitting the formula between acquisition and selling.
Mm-hmm.
I just had a house before I went to Florida in Colchester.
Yeah.
It took me a month to buy it. Actually, it took me a couple months to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
I had over 300 people that wanted to buy it from me.
Mm-hmm.
So look at that ratio. It's much harder to acquire the properties than it is to sell them. So here's my point. And you know this because you run into this with me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like I'm greedy, but it's not. I worked really hard to purchase that property, to get that deal.
Yeah.
Why would I not want to leverage it to get the most amount that I can out of it? Because I don't know when the next one is coming.
Well, yeah, in all fairness, people say, how much did you make in that? It says, wait, whoa, 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 whoa. You know how much work I had to do to find that one house? You know, you can't just go buy a house every week and do this. If that was the case, we'd drop the price on things and make it easier for people to buy them and just float around. It's not that easy, you know?
Right.
Like try to get a recording contract. Try to get on a major tour. Try to get a part in a lead movie. Try to do any of that stuff. That doesn't come often. So when they pay you $100,000 or $1 million, you need it because it took a year to get that or 2 years to get it.
So your point is exactly where I'm at. So freedom equals continuity. So now, like our friend Jay does radon. We talk about this quite a bit. Like, how can he create continuity? It's a service business. He goes in, he services real estate agents.
Yeah.
They're selling a house. They test it for radon. It's not good. He needs to go put a radon system in. How do you make that a continuity business? He struggles with that. We've talked a lot about that. I don't have the answer right now, but one of the things that he has done is he's taken on a partner that does water. So I'm like, you should go on the water side of it because that's much more continuity. But the point is if you have a service business, the continuity comes in the service contracts.
Yeah.
Like maintenance, right? So think of it this way: the best industry on the planet that does this is the car industry. 20,000 mile check, 40,000 mile check, 80,000 mile check. And how do they get you to do those checks?
Free inspections.
Nope. Yeah, that's one of them. That's one of them.
Well, if you don't, you void your warranties.
There you go. There you go. There you go. That's their continuity program.
I own cars.
Right? So I know because I owned a gas station for 25 years. I ran, and my wife at the time, who's my ex-wife by 20 years now, but my wife at the time told me you can't do that because my ad was $13.99 oil change this week only with a 52-point safety inspection. So first of all, everybody else was advertising oil changes for $20. I was doing $13.99 because that was the magic number because it wasn't too cheap where they thought they were missing parts. And it wasn't
crappy oil.
And it was enough of a discount where they were like, oh, that's a good bargain. And I tested this.
Yeah.
The 52-point safety inspection was the magic.
Of course.
Because we would find brakes and struts and exhaust, and we would put out proposals, just like we do in real estate. Like, here's what's wrong. What do you want to do? Right? So it goes for real estate because I wrote in an email the other day. Actually, I should go look it up. Hang on one second. Yeah, I don't remember which one it was. Oh, here it is. So the name of the email, I'm just going to read this to you, okay? The name of the email is Using Flirting Skills to Make Real Estate Deals. My definition of flirting: experiment with or show a superficial interest, an idea, activity, or movement without committing oneself to it seriously. Here's the story. I only do deals once the seller gets serious enough for me to spend time and resources on him. AKA, I do not commit seriously until the seller does. So many students miss this. They think because they said blank, it is in stone and they have to come up with a bunch of dough without research. Definition of an offer. An offer is a conditional proposal made by a buyer or seller to buy or sell an asset, which becomes legally binding if accepted. Conditional. So I beg an answer from you today. Please, why are you not making offers daily until you can figure things out? Believe me, the seller will teach you how to make deals for free. All you need to do is, number one, find and communicate to the motivated seller. Number two, tell them you buy houses. Number three, ask them what's needed and wanted. Number four, use my 7 core strategies to give that to them.
Mm.
And if you feel weak about the 7 core strategies, you need to be on my No Bucks meetup, which is the third Wednesday of every month. And you'll learn how to do that with raving results.
Mm-hmm.
All you need to do is come check it out. And I promise 2 things. A, I will comfortably help you without paying me. And B, we can leave as friends if you don't like me. No risk to you at all.
Yeah, people have bought houses off that stuff. Just like that.
So the point is that if you want to do this Jay Abraham thing, right, where we're talking about the 3 ways to increase money, which is increase the number of clients, increase the average size of your sale per deal, and increase the number of clients that return again.
Mm-hmm.
So just to summarize, because we went off on some tangents there. 1, talk to more sellers.
Yeah.
Make offers. Offers are proposals. Could be the stupidest offer in the world, but make it. And when they respond, you won't do that again. You'll learn for free. You did this in the beginning. I told you to call for sale by owners, the suspects, and you ended up getting in houses. And later on, we figured out that was the right thing to do, right?
I wanted to practice before I screwed up. So I'm a musician. I don't go on stage and wing it. I always practice. When I hit the stage, it's prime. So I don't want to just find a good deal and screw it up. So I just found whatever I could find online, talk to them, and you were surprised that I did it because people don't always listen to you. Right. That's why I'm still here, folks, because I listened to Bill.
Exactly. And you're making money. So you increase the number of clients you talk to.
Yeah.
Then once you start doing your transactions, you look at money now, money monthly, money later. That's how you increase the average size per client. See, if you do a flip and you make $25,000, that's good, but it takes you 6 months. Mm-hmm. But if you do a rent to own, like the example I did last night on a rent to own on a $200,000, we made $58,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's increasing the average size of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Then at the end, you increase the number of time the clients return to you. That's your buyer. They keep returning every month and paying you and paying you and paying you and paying you.
Yeah.
Right. So going back to number 2, the thing that is of interest lately for most is this down payment assistance program where you get people to pay above and beyond their rent. In my example, $230 a month comes to me as down payment assistance, which, by the way, that reduces how much they owe me. So when they go get their mortgage, it's less.
Yeah. I mean, the crazy thing is everything you do, it actually helps the other person.
Right.
And you think, well, if they can't get a mortgage, they must not have any money. They have money. They have some other little difficulty of, they don't have the credit rating right now because of divorce or, there's all kinds of reasons, silly things. Yeah, everyone's been in the jam once in a while, even the rich guys. But you get them out of that. So it works out.
So continuity, you're right, Peter. The continuity, getting monthly payments, getting a recurring payment. How about this one? I'm going to do one more just on the end of the show here.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about a slot deal, a sandwich lease option transfer.
Yes.
We go to a seller that owes $100,000 on his property, that's worth $100,000, and doesn't want to come to the closing table to bring money for the closing, which is 10 or 15%.
Sure.
They're stuck. They're accidental landlords. They're just renting because they're upside down on the property. They owe more than what it's worth.
Yep. They bought too high. They borrowed too much against it. Whatever they did.
Whatever. Right. Now you come along and say, I'll give you a delayed cash out on that property. I will buy that property from you and you need to give me 2 years to rent. They're already renting because they're already an accidental landlord.
Yeah, but they're not getting any money out of it anyways.
Right.
You're just saving them $10,000 or $15,000 by waiting. Would you wait to not lose that money or lose it right now? Just don't do it.
Exactly. So now what happens is you go find a buyer that will pay $100,000. Let's say their mortgage payment's $1,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
With the taxes and insurance. So now you go find a buyer that's willing to pay, we'll say $110,000.
Mm-hmm.
You get $10,000 down. That's what I've been teaching for years. You get $10,000 down, right?
Yeah.
And once they pay, so if the buyer pays 110 and they give you $10,000 for a deposit, they owe 100, and you then connect the seller and the buyer together on a lease with an option to buy, and you walk away. You just take your 10 grand.
Yep. No continuity.
The continuity comes in. Well, what happens if you took $5,000 down because they don't have 10 grand and you set up payments for the other 5? Now there's continuity for 2 years. You could be getting $200, $208 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't even own the property. You put the buyer and the seller together and they're paying one another and they're off doing their stuff. And all you did was write a note for the down payment assistance program. And you just made $208 a month for doing the transaction.
Yeah. Instead of walking away with just the money, you have money and then some money later.
Right. Or you can get more money. You could sell the house for, let's say, $215,000 and take, $7,500 down now and $7,500 in payments, or $10,000 down now and $5,000 in payments. The point is that you're making money out of thin air.
Yeah.
Because of this continuity concept, because that is what's going to free you. What's going to free you is money coming in off of your asset. In this particular case, your asset is your loan. You're lending them money for a down payment.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right. And that's just skimming the top of the iceberg here. But the point is that every business, if you work on it enough, you put enough attention on it, you will find some sort of a continuity in that business. Just like Amazon does with the vitamins. They don't just sell you one. They ask you to go on to a continuity program for 4 months so you don't run out of pills.
Yep.
Right?
Sure.
And they get you to pay them month after month after month. And that is how you're going to get freedom. Because the more people you can get to pay you monthly, the quicker you will be free.
Mm.
End of story.
That's awesome.
Okay.
That's awesome.
So what you need to do is listen to this podcast a couple times and reverse engineer how you can create a flight plan on how long. Like I told you, if you need $6,000 a month, you need 12 properties at $500 each. Well, reverse engineer what you want to do and then go look for those deals.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to be a real estate investor for 35 years to be wealthy and be free.
Mm-hmm.
In your case, you might need 12 deals. Maybe you need 6 deals. Maybe you need 8 deals. Maybe you need 20 deals. But it doesn't matter. You now have a bullseye and you put your attention on how do I get my 20 deals at $500 a deal, or how do I get my 12 deals at $500 a deal? And you go find those. Now what happens is you can go find your list. Who should I be talking to? How can I get those? What's the best type of person I could talk to find this type of deal? And you reverse engineer it, and all of a sudden it becomes very clear on how you can do that, which is the title of today's podcast: a real expectations a creative real estate rookie should have to be totally free.
You know what's funny about the free part of that? When you hit that target that you don't have to have the job, think of this. Now you're free to do more of it. That's actually the point.
Without all the distractions.
Well, Mary and I are at that point now. I'm working very little job-wise, and she's not at all. So all we're doing is just real estate every day. And if it's a few hours, we can do it. We can get in there until we get tired of no or whatever. But we can do it and spend the time on it now. And now you can get another house and then another one and another one, and actually build wealth, not just breaking even.
Right.
So first target, breaking even, get you out of the gate. So now you got time to really go at it, because you just learned how to do it to get to where you are. Now you can really maximize it. And then you're talking some easy street.
I totally get that, Peter. I want to introduce you to a new Bill's Planet word.
Okay.
Picturize. Picturize. Picturize this, Peter.
Picturize this, Bill.
My friend taught this to me. I'm going to say this and then we're going to go. My friend taught this to me.
Oh.
Think of an airplane.
Okay.
You're in an airplane looking out the window, and you're on the runway.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see?
Maybe the wing, maybe the tarmac, and the head of the person next to you or in front of you. Yeah.
Now that airplane gets up in the air and it's 30,000 feet in the air, what do you see now?
Either clouds or a lot more ground, a lot more.
But you could see a lot more Earth, right?
A lot more, yeah.
And that's exactly what you're talking about. When you're stuck with a job and income, you're on the runway and you got closed in vision. Your peripheral vision is closed in. You know, like your points of anchor where you are surrounding you are closer to you than you want them to be.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get rid of your monthly bills and do what we talked about here, it's like the plane got up in the air and you're 30,000 feet in the air, and all of a sudden you see more and you learn more because you don't have the pressure of life on you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole different world.
Yep.
Because then if you go through the stages, remember I did the stages of a business, 6 stages of a business? Remember I did that not long ago, right?
Yeah, I printed one out. Get that one.
So what happens is eventually you start doing charity work and you start doing donations and you start doing things bigger than you.
Yep.
Because you're doing well.
Yeah, you're not just doing it for you, like you, me. I, me, mine.
So the natural progression is that you do for yourself first, then you do for your family, then you do for your like company or your business or your group, and then you do for mankind.
Yeah,
that's like the natural progression of how it works.
Mm-hmm. Nice one.
All right, Peter, over and out. Thank you for being here this morning. I know it was you got some stuff going on, and I know it was a very I don't think it was a difficult decision, but I know that it was, you had to juggle things around to be here. So thank you very much.
It was fun. Hey, we had fun today.
Yeah, good.
I had fun.
All right, over and out. We will be broadcasting because Christmas is on Saturday and New Year's is on Saturday. So we will be holding our schedule throughout the holidays. So, because it is December of 2021.
How did we get here?
Yes. All right. Don't forget to go check the link in the description and go get your goodies. And we'll talk to you next week. Over and out. Thanks for being here. Thanks for all your support and everything you do for us.